Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Smith, and I am a Master's of Social Work student at Howard University, and I am the founder and executive director of the Mental Health Emergency Fund Incorporated. This training will be on guided meditation. I will teach you all how to lead guided meditations with the young people in your lives who you work with so that you are able to facilitate these meditation circles on your own with the young people. So let's get started. So for the agenda, um, we're going to do introductions and group norms. I'm going to define meditation and mindfulness. I will walk through the steps of guided meditation. I will have a sample video of a guided meditation that I've done before that you all can have as your reference point. And then we're going to end with some reflection and close out with some resources. So the group norms for this space, which you might also want to do for the space that you lead with your young people, is that I just ask that you're fully present here. Remember that what's said here stays here. Participate as you feel comfortable and relax. This is a training that is supposed to make you feel relaxed and help you to lean into relaxation as you work with the young people. And so I just want you all to feel like you're already getting in that mode as you are even just taking this training. So, meditation can be defined as a set of techniques that are intended to encourage a heightened state of awareness and focused attention. Meditation is also a consciousness changing technique shown to have many benefits on psychological well being. Mindfulness defined. Mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment, without interpretation or judgment. Practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to help relax the mind and body and help reduce stress. So, some benefits of mindfulness on the brain. Mindfulness increases brain gyrification, which is the folding of the brain tissue, which allows the brain to process information more efficiently, allowing the person who's meditating to provide a better grasp on life stressors. It fights depression, fights anxiety, fights memory loss, helps regulate emotion, improves academic performance, and it fights PTSD. So, just a little bit more information. Mindfulness positively impacts certain areas of mental health, including reduced stress and rumination, emotion and attention regulation, reduced mild to moderate depression and anxiety, and depressive relapse prevention. There are many different types of meditation. We're going to go over a few, and you get to decide which one feels best for you when you are leading the meditations with your young people. So, the first one is a body scan meditation. This practice involves scanning the body and noticing certain physical sensations. A breathing meditation involves focusing on different breathing techniques. A loving kindness meditation involves focusing your attention on loved ones, yourselves, and others as you think kind and caring thoughts. A mantra meditation involves chanting a word or phrase, which can be done aloud or in your mind. A movement meditation involves focusing on movements of the body, either by moving specific parts of the body or observing the world around you during a walk. And then an object-focused meditation involves focusing on a specific object or mental image. So, what is the purpose of all this? Our purpose is to provide preventative, maintenance, restorative, and intervention mental health practices using mindfulness meditation. We want youth to have hope to have healthy coping skills to turn to when they're overwhelmed. So, some language to consider when you are leading the young people through the meditation, as you invite them to, settle into their body or to start to focus on your breath, you can say things like, if it feels good to you, do this. When you're ready, do this. As you're comfortable, do this. So that really invites them to know that they can participate if they want to or if they don't. They have choice and agency in this meditation. Even though you're guiding it, they are fully able to opt out or lean in. So it's really all dependent on how comfortable they are. Some other words that, kind of get in the feel of meditation are gently, slowly, softly, lovingly. And so if you just kind of think about these words, think about maybe what kind of feelings they provoke. I want you all to really grab a hold of that and take that into your time as you become a facilitator. So the first step that you want to do is set the atmosphere. Again, make sure the participants feel comfortable. Maybe ask if there are any injuries or aches in the body that anyone is dealing with, and you would adjust accordingly. You want to create group norms, maybe decide on a theme for your time together. You can do that via survey, kind of do a check-in with them, ask them how they're doing. Do they want to focus on stress management? Do they want to focus on forgiveness? Do they want to focus on self-love? Just depending on what the group wants to focus on could help you decide how you're going to do your meditation. You're going to encourage them to find a quiet space where they'll be undistracted. You're either going to sit down or lie down, or have them either sit down or lie down. Some props that you can use are candles, yoga mats, blankets, even meditation mats. So you might want to dim the lights and turn off soft music. This is all part of setting the atmosphere for the meditation. The next step is to get them into position. So if they're sitting up, maybe encourage them to keep their back straight using a prop if they need to. So if they need to have their back against the wall, that's helpful. If they're lying down on their back, maybe have their palms facing up as a posture showing that they're open to receive. An option for either posture, one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. That really helps you kind of feel um, where if your breath is coming more from your chest or from your belly. The next step, deep breaths with eyes open. So you have them find a fixed object or a spot in front of them where they can softly fix their gaze. And you're going to start with deep breaths. In through the nose, hold it for 3 seconds. Out through the mouth, release it for 5 seconds. So you do a little bit shorter inhales and longer exhales. Or they can do whatever count works best for them. Feel free to kind of mix it up. There's also something called a box breath, which is inhale for 4, hold it for 4, exhale for 4, recover for 4. And that's an easy thing to remember with the box breath. The next step, they're going to gently close their eyes and scan their environment. So you're going to invite them to notice what they're picking up with their senses. What can they hear, near or far? What can they smell? Can they taste anything? What can they feel? Maybe there's a breeze in the room. Maybe they can feel the fabric of what they're sitting on. Invite them to notice these things around them, but not put a lot of focus on them. This is a way for them to kind of create distance between themselves and what's external to them. Then they're going to do a body scan. So you could start by saying, now we're going to do an inward scan to ground in our bodies. So you can start from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, whichever you feel comfortable. And as you're doing so, just ask if there's any tension, if they feel that they may feel as they scan through their bodies. So you're literally going to start with your head, relax the muscles in your face, relax the muscles in your neck and your shoulders, all the way down to your toes. And invite them to soften the tension by sending their breath there. So if there's, maybe a kink in their neck or in their back, just have them breathe through that space and allow the breath to kind of soften that tension. And so the purpose of mindfulness meditation is to focus mainly on our breathing. So we have settled into our bodies, we have, settled in, scanned the environment, settled into our bodies, scanned our bodies, and now we are going to be focusing on our breath for the remainder of the meditation. So they were just doing deep inhales and exhales, and now you can tell them to allow their breath to take its natural rhythm and don't force it. Maybe they can notice if they're breathing heavier than usual or slower than usual. If they feel it more in their belly or more in their chest, just to have them notice it, but to not force anything. And as they're focusing on their breath, their mind may drift off, but encourage them to come back to the breath, back to the inhale and to the exhale. As you do this, as they're focusing on the breath, you are going to go into your mantra or your affirmation for the time. You could read a poem, recite a scripture, maybe have some song lyrics printed out. Maybe you have a phrase like, I am safe, I am free, I am whole, that you want to continue to repeat and speak over them as they're breathing. You could also do a visualization exercise where as they're breathing, you might invite them to go to a place that is extremely peaceful. That could be a beach, that could be their grandmother's couch. That could be flying in the sky. Whatever is peaceful to them, do a visualization exercise, and you might walk them through some steps during that visualization exercise. Encourage them to inhale all the peace they need, anything else, anything they need, and then exhale and release any stress, any tension, any worry, any fear, anything that they don't need. So that's the whole idea behind the meditation is focusing on their breath while also receiving the words that you're speaking over them as you're guiding them through, whether it's the mantra, the poem, the song, the visualization, any of those things. You want to make sure that you allow for silence, so let the words sink in. You might want to pause between stanzas, phrases, or sentences. Have the participants get comfortable with silence. And so in those moments of silence, that's the time for them to really just focus on their breath and let those any thoughts that might be coming in, just let those kind of melt away as they focus on their breath. As we're kind of wrapping up, the next thing to do would be to leave them with a reflection question or a prompt that they can journal about when the meditation is over. So maybe as you're doing that visualization part of it, you can ask them, what feelings are coming to mind in this visualization? Something simple as that. And then they can journal about that later after they, come out of the meditation. So you close out the way you started. You have them scan their bodies and scan their external environments. Ask them if they feel any different at the beginning of the meditation than at the beginning. Maybe they feel more relaxed, but maybe also this is their first time and they felt a little bit anxious or their mind was all over the place and they feel a little frazzled. That's okay too. Meditation is a practice and it is something that takes time to kind of master. And so the last step, invite them to open their eyes. So you can say when you're ready, you may slowly open your eyes. Ask them how it felt for them. You can say, give yourself some time to write down your takeaways and process the experience. Feel free to share if you're comfortable. So this is the part where we know that meditation is a very personal practice, but as we're meditating in community, it could be an opportunity for the young people to share with one another, see how they're feeling, kind of create community and connection among each other. It doesn't have to be too vulnerable or too deep, but it is a way for them to open up and to share. And you might be surprised what they end up saying. So as you close out, you want to thank them for sharing their time and space. Maybe ask them all for just a one word takeaway, what they're feeling or how the experience was for them. Um, it is good to get data, so you might want to ask them to fill out an anonymous survey on their way out. You can stay around for any questions, and then you can point them to some resources. So we have some resources on the next slide. Oh, not the next slide, a few slides from now. So this is actually this link is a video. It'll take you to a full guided meditation that I did online a few years ago. That's on my YouTube page. And it is a full meditation with music in the background and um me guiding people through I think it's a scripture, I believe. And so there are people on the video on the call. I don't know if I don't think you can see anybody. I think everyone's cameras are off, but you'll see my face and you'll hear my voice and you'll hear the music and you'll see the meditation in action. So I wanted you to have that resource of an actual video for you whenever you are ready to kind of create your own curriculum. And so this is a time for you to just share reflections on this training and anything that stuck out to you. And then here are the resources that I was mentioning earlier. These are three apps that they start off free, Calm, Headspace, and Insight Timer. But as you go deeper, or if you want to have the app for longer, then you might have to pay a little bit. I started with Headspace when I was learning how to meditate back in like 2018, and I loved it. It's a little British voice and a little cartoon and it just teaches you the ins and outs of breathing and calming your mind and letting those thoughts kind of pass you by. And so there's actually been a couple of Netflix specials on Headspace and meditation. So I would encourage you to check those out as well. So I am not going to leave you all completely stranded. I have actually created a 16-page script, line by line, where you can lead your meditation circle. So this will be provided for you step by step. So all the steps that we just went through, I have the language, the verbiage for that. And so I really hope that that's going to be helpful for you so you feel fully equipped to work with your young people and engage in this guided meditation process that is going to be very beautiful, very helpful, help them cope, help them deal with any anxiety, stress, worry that they may be feeling. So, thank you so much for taking this training. And here's my contact information if you would like to learn more. So there's my email address, LinkedIn, Instagram, and my website. All right.